right, it is time to talk about Make versus N8N for automations, and specifically for automations that are useful for authors such as myself and others who follow this channel. And this is going to be an interesting one because they're both okay, and they're definitely the top two that you will hear about when it comes to AI automations. However, there are a few reasons why I just found myself gravitated towards one in particular, and I'm not even using the other one anymore. So I'm going to break down a little bit about what makes Make good, what makes N8N good, and why you might want one or over the other. By the end of this video, I'm going to tell you which is the one that I definitely recommend and is the only one I'm going to be teaching going forward as a result, because I think there's not much use in teaching both. So let's start with Make. Now, if we go and I share my screen here, if you go and create a new scenario in Make, you'll be presented with this giant, beautiful, big button. And you just click on this and it'll give you some integrations and things that you can select from. And this is probably the biggest advantage that Make has, is it is relatively easy to get started. You can just dive right in and start making your first automation right out of the bat. And it also has a really good looking UI. I find it very easy and intuitive to understand in that sense, at least for something that is not as easily understood by most people that are less technical. Make does a pretty good job of trying to make it as easy to understand as possible. The other major advantage that I think Make has going for it is that it actually has a higher level of integrations. It's got like something like 2,000 integrations or something like that. You can see some of them here. And I do think, at least in terms of built-in features, some of these are actually more complex and have more features essentially than what you get out of the box in N8N. For instance, if we look at Google Docs, there's lots of things that we can do with Google Docs. We can have it watch for documents, list a number of documents like in a folder or something, get the contents of a document, create a new document, create a document from a template. Insert a paragraph into a document, insert an image into a document, replace an image with a new image, all of this stuff, right? Replace a text in a document, download a document, delete a document, make an API call, make all links in a document clickable. There are a lot of things like this where it just gives you a bunch of options of what you can do with Google Docs. And when you look at the same node in N8N, you will not see as many options. However, that doesn't mean that you can't do them in N8N. That just means that there isn't necessarily a easy button click for all of it. Sometimes you have to go through a few more hoops to get to what you want. So for that reason, I think there are a few aspects of Make that make it a little bit more beginner friendly. However, there are some downsides to Make that we absolutely have to be aware of. And this is going to be really important given that we're coming at this from an author's perspective, where we're looking to do some big projects and things like that. As well as analyze a lot of content and do a lot of steps on that content. Some reasons that you might not want Make include the following. First of all, it's not nearly as customizable. While it does have a couple of those extra nodes and things that you can use, as I showed off with the Google Docs, you can actually do more in N8N just with a little bit more technical knowledge. And N8N has some abilities to connect via API to a lot of things that don't have a direct integration. So Make has a lot of integrations, but N8N can actually interface with probably more things overall just through an API. The second reason why you might not like Make is that it actually operates on a credit system. And now I know a lot of you guys, just from having seen comments on other software that I've talked about, are not big fans of credit systems. And I honestly am not either. Now I get it in certain circumstances, like that's kind of the best way you could do it. But in other circumstances, I just don't like it, which means that every time you're running an automation, you're charged on every single operation that happens. So every step of the process uses up a credit, and some use up more than others. Now, they're usually generous with the number of credits that you get for the price, but still, I know that rubs people the wrong way, and you don't have anything like that in N8N. Another one that a lot of people don't talk about, but that was a big deal for me, is the fact that there is a 45-minute cutoff for each automation. Now, a lot of the automations that I do can sometimes take a lot of time to run because you're running large, expensive prompts on a lot of content. So there's a lot of things that need to happen, and those prompts can sometimes take quite a while to generate. And then we'll have multiple steps of those prompts, in which case, it can sometimes take more than 45 minutes for an automation to fully execute. And if we're in Make, I have to keep that in mind so that I don't let it go for too long. Otherwise, it'll hit that 45-minute cutoff and just have an error. And I'll show you an example of what this looked like. So I actually had some automations built up here where it would, go through a couple of Google Docs steps here, and then it would have a 4-step process on one chapter. And then it would go to the next chapter and have a 4-step process there, and then the next chapter, and then the next chapter. And by the way, I found a better way of doing this in N8N. I was not able to figure out how to do it in Make, but I couldn't have done it anyway because I limit this to 5 chapters, actually 6 in this case, because it includes a prologue. And the reason I limited it to 5 chapters is because any more than that, and I risked going over that 45-minute limit. And with N8N, there is no such limit. And that was a really big deal for me. Even though it's a small thing, for my particular use case, it's a big deal. And I'll show you that this one here in N8N, it's the same process, but adapted so that it could actually write all 40 chapters of a novel if I wanted to, assuming it's a 40-chapter novel, which in my case it is. And here are the same 4 steps that we're repeating here, here, and here. Get done here. But in this case, I was able to figure out a way for it to loop around and then go to the next chapter and then continue to do that over and over and over again. As a result, I was also able to get this to be able to read the previous chapter, which is something that, I could do something like that here in Make, but it would be a little bit messier and not quite as efficient as what I have here. And sure, if I'm only doing 5 chapters at a time with this automation, it won't take too long. But if I wanted to do, say, 40 chapters all at once, write the whole book all at once, and then go in and edit it rather than editing as I go, then this automation would definitely take longer than 45 minutes. And so I like having the additional flexibility in being able to do these longer, more complicated and lengthy automations. Last but not least, and when it comes to Make, when I was working with it, I found that I was just running into a lot of errors. Now, admittedly, this is more of an anecdotal thing. I can't say for sure if Make is going to be less buggy than N8N or not, but for me personally, and I was running quite a bit of automations in Make before I switched to N8N, I found that it was quite buggy, and that very often it would just have a random error, and I wasn't able to get really a good answer on why there was an error. Often I think it was just because one of the steps just went on for too long. And it might have been doing like a deep research. In fact, yes, I was doing, in one case, I was trying to do a perplexity deep research, and the deep research was just taking too long. So it just sort of timed out. And that's not okay with me. And I don't get that level of bugs in N8N. I still get a few timeouts and things that happen in N8N, but the frequency that they happen, for me at least, seemed to be far fewer than what I was getting in Make. And I was trying to make work for me because I had heard that it was so much simpler and easier to use, and I like simple. I like making things easy for the authors that I share things with to be able to follow along with me. And so for that reason, I kind of put off digging into N8N because I really wanted to make work. And it just, over time, I was just having some issues with it, not really able to do exactly everything that I wanted to do. And so from there, I decided to really give N8N a shot. And so let's now shift and talk about some of the reasons why you might prefer N8N over Make. Firstly, N8N also has a high level of integrations. Not as many as Make does, but when you count the ability to connect to pretty much any place that has an API, it's still pretty high. The fact that they don't have a built-in integration for something that you might have to connect to for an API might make it a little bit more difficult to connect to that thing, but you can still do it. That said, most of the integrations that you would need as an author, pretty much all of the ones that I need in my process and in the automations that I make for people, all of those integrations are fully accessible inside of N8N. It has access to all of the different AI providers and things like that, including Open Router. It has access to the entire Google suite of tools and features. So pretty much anything that you would need for the most part, unless you're in a really niche case, are accessible inside of N8N. Now, the second big reason why you might prefer N8N is the pricing structure. So it is quite a bit different from the way Make operates their platform. Make is a credit system, and they're reasonably affordable. Like you can get actually there's even a free plan where you can get a fair amount of usage. Although the free plan, that 45-minute cutoff that I mentioned is actually only, I think, 10 minutes if you're on the free plan. And you get far fewer free credits that way. With N8N, there's 3 different ways you can go about it. The first is to go with the public cloud version. And that one I don't actually really recommend because it's $60 a month, which makes it way more pricier than Make. If that were the only comparison, I'd say, yeah, definitely go with Make. It's more bang for your buck. However, N8N is an open source tool. And so you can actually install it locally on your computer, absolutely free, no strings attached. The only issue I've seen with that is it requires a little bit of technical figuring out to get it installed on your local device. There's a third option that I like, which is kind of the best of both worlds, where you're able to self-host it on your own cloud server. And that's usually quite a bit cheaper than going with the $60 a month. And there are services out there like Hostinger. This isn't sponsored or anything. Hostinger has a one-click install option for N8N, and that's actually what I use personally. And I'll do a separate video about all of the different ways to install N8N and to get it started with it. But suffice it to say, you can have N8N entirely for free if it is hosted on your computer. And that also means that there's no credit system. You're not charged per credit. Now, if you're still using AI in the platform, you still have to connect your API to the system, and the AI usage will still be charged through whatever service you're using. Like I use OpenRouter a lot, so I get charged through OpenRouter for a lot of my AI usage. But that's different, and like I'd still have to have that in Make and in N8N. And so when we're just talking about like the overhead costs of using N8N as a platform versus Make, I would choose N8N because you can install it locally on your computer and have all of the same functionality. And the third option that I've kind of already mentioned is that I found that there are far fewer glitches and timeout problems in N8N. Again, you still get some, but that's been a far less demanding issue as when I was working with Make. The fourth reason is that N8N is actually better if you are concerned with like having full data control and full security and privacy of your data. If that's important to you, then N8N is great because since you can install it on your local computer and not have it on the cloud, you have a greater degree of ownership and security with all of that in that model. And because there's no 45-minute limit or anything like that, it's actually far easier to scale your projects in N8N. Not that that's really a concern for most authors, but that is something to keep in mind. Like if I were a business looking to really scale the AI usage in my company and automate a lot of the processes, I would definitely be choosing N8N and getting a specialist to do all of that for me and scale it, because N8N is definitely better for a more robust infrastructure. And last but not least, N8N, because it's an open source thing, there's a really strong open source community out there. If you need help getting things installed or figuring out how to do XYZ, the community is pretty open, and you can find many places online to ask those questions. The only real downside of N8N is that it is a little bit more complicated to use. However, that was something that put me off from it for a little while. I had heard that it was more complex and that Make was so much easier. And for that reason, I started with Make and only got into N8N when I grew a little bit dissatisfied with some of the features in Make. And once I got into N8N and got past the first couple of hurdles, like getting it set up, that's probably the biggest one, I found it to be just as intuitive as Make. Now, maybe I'm an exception. Maybe some people would find Make easier, but I found that the actual setting up of an automation and putting all the little pieces together and running your prompts and all of that was absolutely no harder in N8N than it was in Make. The only thing I would say that was a little bit harder with N8N was the initial setup. But once you've got that down, it's really easy to get started and really intuitive. And honestly, I'm going to have a couple of videos that will walk you through some of those initial startup tasks. And hopefully that will make it a lot easier for you to get started in N8N. And the fact that it's actually kind of about the same amount of effort to get a automation set up in Make versus N8N, given that N8N has way more potential of what it can do, I would absolutely go with N8N over Make. If you can master N8N, then if you wanted to switch over to Make, like maybe you get a client that wants something built in Make and you can build it for them. If you know how to use N8N, Make will just come very easily to you. And so I do recommend the authors start with N8N. You don't have to be a coder to do things in N8N, although if you are a coder, that can increase the amount of things that you can do in N8N. I've even done a tiny bit of vibe coding inside of N8N to do certain steps. And I was able to figure that out very easily with absolutely no background in code myself. I do not know JavaScript, PHP, Python, any of the major languages. The only one I know a smidgen about is HTML and CSS, but those are like not even really proper coding languages. So if I can figure it out, I know anybody can. And especially if you come in and start with the things that I've created and work with those to get started, and maybe you'll just work on figuring out how to tweak things for your own purposes, it's not going to be very difficult at all for you to figure out how to use it. So if you haven't been able to tell by now, you can tell that I really love N8N. And as far as I'm concerned, I will only be teaching N8N from here on out. So all of the future automation videos that I make are all going to be centered around N8N as the primary platform of choice. There are others, even besides Make, there are others out there, but if you can master N8N, the rest should come pretty easily to you. So I highly recommend that you also follow along in this journey and figure out how to use N8N for your own purposes. And that's also what I'm doing inside of the Story Hacker group, which you can find a link down below, where I am sharing all of my automations that I create. Those all go in that group, as well as a number of instruction and things beyond what you just see here. Plus you get access to the community. So if you have a problem, if you're stuck on something, you can probably find somebody in the community to help you out. I'm in there answering questions every day as well. So check that out if you're interested. That pretty much wraps it up for this video. As you can tell, we're just going to be going ahead with N8N in the future. And in the next video, we're going to actually talk about how to get it installed, how to get it going for you and your business. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next video.